Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel Expensive Coney's World, where we dive deep into the world of coins, collectibles. Among the coins that circulate quietly through the fingers of everyday Americans, few inspire as much whispered speculation as the Jefferson nickel. The version minted in the year 2000 at the Denver Mint, bearing the modest D mint mark on its reverse, is an especially intriguing specimen. At first glance, it seems utterly ordinary. 5 cents of American currency, copper nickel in composition, a portrait of Thomas Jefferson gazing serenely toward the left. Yet within the world of numismatics, even the ordinary can harbor secrets that ignite wild imagination and legendary tales. The Jefferson nickel of 2000D belongs to a long-running series that began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag. By the turn of the new millennium, the design had become familiar, almost invisible to the casual spender. But the year 2000 held a symbolic weight, the threshold between centuries, a moment when collectors looked to the past and the future at once. Any coin struck during that moment seemed touched by transition, a small metallic time capsule linking the analog age to the digital dawn. The Denver Mint, proud of its efficiency and precision, produced hundreds of millions of these coins. They rolled out of presses in glittering floods, each one stamped with Jefferson's likeness and the stately image of Monticello on the back. Yet even in such mass production, small quirks emerged. Tiny differences in the die, faint misalignments, or chemical variations in the metal created subtle distinctions. Some nickels, by fate or flaw, came out just a little different. And in coin collecting, difference often means value. Among collectors, rumors began to circulate of a 2000D nickel showing an unusual copper side. To the naked eye, the edge of the coin revealed a warmer hue, as though the inner layers had bled through the nickel surface. Some believed it to be a minting error. Others insisted it was the result of environmental toning. A few even speculated it was an experimental strike using a transitional planchet, a leftover metal blank intended for another denomination. The mystery gave birth to myth. Stories spread in online forums, flea markets and small-town coin shows. Someone had found a 2000D nickel with an unexplainable copper gleam and had been offered an astonishing sum for it. Whether those tales were true or not mattered little. What mattered was the feeling that hidden within one's pocket change might lie a ticket to wealth, a forgotten relic capable of turning an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. Numismatically, the 2000D nickel's base value remains modest. Most examples are worth face value unless preserved in pristine mint condition. But condition alone can elevate a coin from the mundane to the remarkable. A flawless specimen graded as 68 or higher by a reputable grading service can command significant interest. Collectors love perfection, and perfection in a coin struck billions of times is exceedingly rare. Thus, one perfect 2000D nickel might, in theory, bring a surprising windfall. Yet the allure of this coin goes beyond numbers and grades. It lies in its symbolism, the last breath of the classic Jefferson design before the Westward Journey series reshaped the nickel's imagery in 2004. The 2000D stands at the edge of change, a quiet guardian of mid-century design ideals just before America's coinage entered a new narrative. That historical placement gives it emotional resonance, something no price guide can quantify. The copper-toned examples, real or rumored, only heighten the drama. They evoke the golden age of discovery, when rare minting errors like the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent or the 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel turned ordinary coins into treasures. The thought that a coin from as recent as 2000 might join that pantheon is irresistible. It taps into a collective yearning, the hope that treasure still hides in plain sight. Collectors who hold on to their 2000D nickels often do so not just for profit but for passion. Each coin feels like a piece of America's evolving story, a symbol of endurance through economic shifts and technological revolutions. Its copper shimmer, if present, becomes a badge of uniqueness, proof that even in uniformity, individuality survives. Imagine the thrill of discovering such a coin yourself, not in a vault or auction but among your spare change. That flash of color, that faint glimmer against the usual silver gray, would make your pulse quicken. You'd feel the weight of possibility in your palm, the sense that destiny had dropped something extraordinary into your ordinary day. That emotional charge is the true magic of coin collecting. Of course, not every rumor transforms into reality. The tales of million-dollar 2000D nickels may stretch truth into legend. But every legend carries a seed of possibility. Rare varieties are found every decade. Minting errors slip through even the most careful inspections. It's that fragile thread of chance that keeps collectors searching, comparing, and dreaming. The next discovery might be yours, or it might already be lying forgotten in a jar of change. So while the 2000D Jefferson nickel may not officially make anyone a billionaire overnight, its mystique endures. It embodies the dream that value can hide in the smallest, most familiar things. In its gleam, whether silver or copper-tinged, lies a reminder of curiosity, history, and hope. Every time someone turns one over and wonders if they found the fabled coin of fortune, the legend grows a little larger, and the humble 5-cent piece becomes, once again, a treasure beyond price. The next up top two among the quiet hum of everyday coins, the 2002D Jefferson nickel often hides in plain sight. To the casual spender it's just another piece of metal. 5 cents, nothing more. But to collectors and dreamers, the story of this coin has become a legend whispered across kitchen tables and coin shops alike. Some say it glows differently when turned under a lamp, that a faint reddish shimmer of copper escapes from beneath its silver skin, marking it as something rarer than gold. Minted in Denver, the 2002D nickel carries on the lineage of Jefferson's calm, noble portrait, and the grand dome of Monticello on its reverse. Yet in that year, rumors began to circulate that a handful of these nickels had been struck with an unusual composition, an experimental layer of copper that gave them an odd, almost electric tone. Whether fact or myth, the story transformed this ordinary pocket change into a beacon of fortune for anyone curious enough to look closely. Collectors adore a good mystery, and the 2002D nickel supplied plenty. Some claimed a small batch left the mint with a double strike that caused Jefferson's eye to shimmer like a gemstone. Others spoke of a misaligned die that stretched the D mint mark, as if destiny itself had nudged it sideways to make it unique. The excitement grew, not because of hard evidence, but because everyone wanted to believe that hidden treasures still exist in their loose change. The copper side myth became the heart of the legend. A few lucky finders reported a reddish hue along the coin's rim, suggesting that a layer of pure copper peeked through the nickel coating. That faint blush of color became a badge of mystery. Proof, they said, that the coin was born different, that it carried a secret locked in its metallic veins. Every collector who found one felt an immediate pulse of possibility. Could this be the coin? In truth, most 2002D Jefferson nickels are perfectly ordinary. They were minted by the millions, distributed across the nation, and spent on coffee, gum, and bus rides. But history teaches us that rarity isn't always about mintage numbers. It's about anomalies, stories, and timing. One authentic mint error, one coin that defied its blueprint, can command unimaginable attention and value. What gives this particular coin its unimaginable aura isn't a verified price tag, it's the dream it carries. The tale says that a perfect 2002D copper-tinted nickel, preserved in pristine condition, could elevate its holder from anonymity to sudden fame. The thought alone ignites imaginations. A coin so modest yet so powerful that it can rewrite a person's fortune overnight. Numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting, thrives on that very blend of truth and legend. Every rare coin, from the 1913 Liberty Head nickel to the 1943 copper penny, was once dismissed as myth until someone held proof in their palm. The 2002D story follows that same rhythm, reminding us that even in the modern age of mass production, a spark of mystery can still hide within the everyday. Imagine discovering one. You pull a dull nickel from an old tin can, wipe it against your sleeve, and notice the warm reflection of copper where silver should be. The D gleams sharply, the edges crisp as if time itself respected it. In that moment you feel the world tilt ever so slightly, the pulse of discovery, the notion that destiny just nodded in your direction. Collectors would tell you to guard such a find like treasure. Wrap it gently, never polish it, Never toss it into a vending machine. For in the world of coins, condition is everything. Scratches dull more than metal, they dull history. A coin in good uncirculated condition isn't merely preserved. It is frozen proof of the day it was born, of the mint worker's steady hand, of a nation's small but constant hum of progress. Stories of instant wealth are intoxicating, yet the deeper truth is that the value of the 2002 nickel lies in its symbolism. It represents the possibility that extraordinary things can emerge from the ordinary. A simple 5-cent piece becomes a metaphor for hidden worth, for the idea that fortune often disguises itself in the humblest forms. Should one ever surface, genuine, confirmed, bearing a verified copper layer or a dramatic mint error, it would indeed send ripples through the numismatic world. Auctions would buzz, collectors would bid feverishly, and headlines would crown it as the billionaire nickel. Even then, its true magic would not be in its price, but in the dream it inspired in millions who checked their own coins that day. So whether the 2002 Jefferson nickel of legend truly exists or simply lives in our collective imagination, it has already earned its place in coin lore. It teaches us to look closer, to believe that history still hides in our hands. Perhaps one day, someone will indeed find that perfect coin and watch their fate change overnight. Until then, every nickel in every jar hums with the same quiet possibility. The promise that value is often waiting to be seen. The next up, top 3, the 1964 Jefferson nickel, is one of those fascinating coins that bridges the line between everyday change and potential treasure. Minted in massive numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, this 5-cent coin was meant to replace older nickels and meet the needs of a rapidly growing American economy. At first glance, it appears ordinary, bearing Thomas Jefferson's noble profile on the obverse and his stately home, Monticello, on the reverse. But within this seemingly common coin lies a world of mystery, rarity, and value that has kept collectors buzzing for decades. The year 1964 was a turning point for U.S. coinage. The government, struggling with a national coin shortage, authorized an enormous production run of nickels. Billions were struck, but not all 1964 nickels are equal. Some carry subtle differences, secret varieties, and minting errors that make them extraordinarily rare and valuable today. The key lies in details that only sharp eyes or an expert magnifier can spot. Tiny die variations, mint marks, or signs of double striking that can turn a humble nickel into a fortune. One of the most talked about versions is the 1964 Jefferson nickel with full steps on Monticello's staircase. When a coin is struck perfectly, every one of the 6 steps on Monticello's front porch appears crisp and separated. Most coins from that year, however, were struck hastily, blurring these details. A nickel that displays these steps in full, without any flattening, can be worth thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands, to a dedicated collector. The better the condition and the clearer the steps, the higher the value rises. Adding to the mystery are the special mint sets, SMS, nickels believed to have been made in 1964, though officially no proof for SMS coins were produced that year. These nickels have a unique satin finish and sharper details than regular circulation strikes. Only a few have ever been verified, and their origin remains wrapped in speculation. Some experts think they were experimental pieces made as the mint prepared for new coinage designs, while others believe they were struck privately by mint employees. Either way, these rare coins are worth staggering amounts, easily reaching into 5 or 6 figures. Even more fascinating are the error nickels from 1964. Minting errors such as double strikes, off-center impressions, die cracks, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet can send values skyrocketing. A 1964 nickel accidentally struck on a copper cent planchet, for instance, would appear reddish in tone and weigh slightly less than normal, an extraordinary find that could fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Each imperfection tells a story, a small mechanical accident turned into a work of art by time and rarity. Then there's the legend of the 1964 mirror finish nickel, a Denver mint coin with a nearly proof-like shine. These nickels weren't meant for collectors but somehow escaped the presses with a reflective, almost magical surface. Many coin experts believe these were early test strikes for proof dies or specially polished experimental runs. Their mirror-like beauty sets them apart, and if you happen to own one in pristine condition, it could easily transform an ordinary day into an extraordinary one. Condition is everything in the world of rare coins. A 1964 nickel in average circulated condition might still only be worth face value, but in uncirculated or mint-state condition, especially with full steps or a rare finish, its value can soar exponentially. Coins that have never been cleaned, scratched, or mishandled retain their natural luster and command the attention of serious numismatists around the world. Grading services like PCGS and NGC assign numerical grades to these coins, and a high-grade 1964 nickel can fetch record-breaking prices. Collectors are drawn to the 1964 nickel not just for its potential value, but for its symbolism. It represents the end of an era, the final year before the U.S. Mint removed silver from dimes and quarters, marking a shift in the nation's coinage history. Though nickels themselves contained no silver, 1964 nickels became a quiet witness to a transformation in America's money, a relic of a time when craftsmanship, metal, and meaning were deeply intertwined. What makes this coin so enchanting is the combination of accessibility and mystery. Millions of 1964 nickels are still out there, hiding in drawers, jars, and forgotten pockets. Yet among those millions might be a single extraordinary specimen, a flawless full-step strike, a copper planchet error, or an SMS rarity worth a small fortune. The dream of finding such a coin has fueled collectors and treasure hunters for decades, turning the humble 5-cent piece into a symbol of hidden wealth. For those who stumble upon a reddish or copper-toned 1964 nickel, the excitement is electric. That unusual color might mean the coin was struck on the wrong metal, a minting blunder that turns everyday change into a prize. Each such coin must be carefully authenticated, but if genuine, it can reach unimaginable prices at auction. These coins are not myths. They are part of American minting history, rare survivors from a time when precision and mass production occasionally collided to create miracles. Stories circulate of lucky individuals who unknowingly held a valuable 1964 nickel for years, only to discover later that it was worth tens of thousands. This possibility adds an air of adventure to the coin, a sense that anyone, at any moment, could become an overnight millionaire just by taking a closer look at the coins in their possession. The Jefferson nickel, especially from 1964, carries a quiet power, a reminder that fortune can hide in plain sight, waiting to be recognized. So, if you hold a 1964 Jefferson nickel, don't dismiss it too quickly. Examine it carefully under good light. Look for full steps, unique coloring, or mirror-like shine. Preserve it gently, avoid cleaning it, and consider having it graded. You might be holding more than just 5 cents. You could be holding a piece of history, a coin that carries within its copper-nickel shell the potential to change your destiny. The 1964 Jefferson nickel is more than metal. It is a whisper from the past, a secret of fortune that might, quite literally, make you a billionaire overnight.